So our next performer is way taller than me. Our next performer is Curtis. Let's give it up for Curtis.
So, it's June 2017, and another Father's Day has passed with zero acknowledgement. Now, even as a kid, Father's Day was one of those holidays that just never really existed for me. And at this point, it had become nothing more than just a random Sunday in June. But this year in particular hit different. I haven't heard from my kids and their mom in over 2 years. And in 2 weeks, I'd be celebrating my 40th birthday in federal prison. I was starting to see the writing on the wall, and it was 6 words, and it was in my ex-girlfriend's handwriting. Now let me explain. The breakup was messy and it was all my fault. She came home early from work one day to find me in bed with her cat. Now, she had given me the spare key for emergencies, but she didn't think sneaking into her house and coming with her cat was an emergency. So she broke up with me on the spot, and that's when she said those 6 words that would come back to haunt me almost a decade later. She said that you are going to be a crazy cat man. Meaning, my fate was to be a crazy old man all alone, surrounded by cats. Now, there's nothing I love more in the world than cats. So at this time, I didn't take it as an insult or even a fate to avoid. I actually embraced Crazy Catman as a title of honor and distinction. But that was then, and now I'm starting to panic at the thought. And that's when I realized that if I don't figure something out before I'm released from prison, I'm going to be a crazy catman. And this time, there's no honor in it. So I figured out that if I wasn't going to be able to come home to my family, then the next best thing would be to come home with purpose. So I studied, I researched, I read all the books on purpose, and they all pointed to one thing, that if you wanted to find your purpose, then you had to start with passion. Now, passion was a word I was familiar with. I could define it, but define it was much trickier. It's kind of like, have you ever been searching for something frantically? You were holding it in your hand the whole time, and then you get frustrated, so you set it down out of the way so you can keep looking for it even harder. Now, that was my search for passion, because even as I'm racking my brain and I'm asking myself, like, what's your passion? What's your passion? I would get a response saying, your only passion is cats. And it would be like dismissing it as if it's too silly or not big enough. And it even got to the point where I would say, okay, besides cats, what's your biggest passion, right? So this went on for a few months when finally it hit me. Your only passion is cats. And then a flash of brilliance, it all came to me. It was 6 words, and it was Crazy Catman's Cat Brothel and Waffles. Again, let me explain. Now, the reason that my ex-girlfriend came home and called me in bed with her cat is because my cat Bambi, a cat that I've had for 22 years, that I slept with almost every day of my life since I was 7, had recently passed away. So I missed my cat, I was having trouble sleeping, and I knew where the spare key was. So we all know how that story ends. But my vision was, if you were a cat lover, or if you were a kid and you couldn't have a cat, didn't have a cat, this is a place where you can come and you can play with cats, and you can pet cats, and you can cuddle with cats, and you can hug cats, like a brothel. And then you could have waffles. So I was overjoyed because I found my passion. But not only that, I was able to restore honor and dignity to the name of Crazy Catman. But that's when I hit a problem. In prison, there's no internet, so I couldn't do any research, and there were no books on how to start a cat brothel. And you can imagine trying to share this idea with my fellow inmates. Because that would go something like, hey Rick, what are you doing when you get out? Well, I'm gonna get my CDL and I'm gonna drive trucks. How about you, Curtis? I'm gonna open a cat brothel with Waffles. So, on top of that, my ego is doing everything in its power to convince me this is the stupidest idea ever, it wouldn't work, and who would pay to pet cats? So needless to say, the crazy cat man's cat brothel and Waffles was doused with a heavy dose of reality and fizzled out. Now, fast forward 2019. It's a random Sunday in June, and I've been home from prison about 5 weeks now. I just got permission from our probation officer to leave the house for the day. And this is huge because not only are my kids and their mom speaking to me, but they actually requested my presence for a quick trip to Best Buy. Now, I have been away so long that I'll take whatever I can get. So we're on the way, we're in the minivan, we make a quick stop. And I see the sign on the store that catches my attention and it piques my curiosity. It says, kitten in cuffs. So we walk inside, it's a basic looking wing area with some with some chairs, coffee machines, and cups. Now as we're making our way to the back area, I noticed a strange look on the faces of my kids and their mom. And they're struggling to hold back laughter and smiles. And as soon as we get to the back, I immediately understand why. Because my face erupts with a huge smile. Because I'm standing in a room full of 20 cats. and they're running and jumping and playing and napping. And as it turns out, Kittens and Cups is a place where if you're a cat lover, and you don't have a cat, this is a place where you can come, and you can play with cats, and you can pet cats, and you can hug cats, and cuddle with cats, like a brothel. But instead of waffles, there's tea. So I'm standing in this place, right? I'm standing in my passion that I told myself was impossible and it would never work. And I'm standing here with the family that I had just swore up and down was never going to be waiting for me. And on top of that, all of this is happening on a day that I no longer thought existed for me, because this random Sunday in June just happened to be Father's Day. Thanks.